I'm Light Melody, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Theory. The game is Awakening, and today we are finally going to cover who is Cynthia's father. And this might be the best time to actually do her theory because, well, Sumia only has 5 potential husbands. Well, 4 because as always Robin is an option and we usually don't count him. Which means this may be the shortest theory yet? Maybe? So let's get right to it. Who can marry Sumia? Well, that's Crom, Frederick, Gaius, and Henry. And we're already down to 3 because Henry has already been taken by Cordelia. So really, we only have Crom, Frederick, and Gaius. So now let's look at both Sumia and Cynthia's classes that they start out with. Both Cynthia and Sumia have the exact same classes of Pegasus Knight, Knight, and Cleric. Since Pegasus Knight in Awakening is only accessible to females, we can't compare it to the others, but take into account that it is a class where the person is riding an animal. Gaius has absolutely nothing in common with either of them, and Frederick has Knight. However, both Crom and Frederick have classes where they do fight while riding on an animal. Both has a Cavalier, and Frederick also has the option of a Riven Rider. Now, usually I take Gaius out of the race at this point, but since we have such a small number of options, I will keep an in while we look at their growth rates. Sumia, as we come to know, since 5 theories with children and their mothers, she's better than Cynthia in all but luck and defense, which she matches Cynthia in defense only. Now, I have 3 color circles, red, blue, and yellow. Red is that they match Cynthia with the number. Blue means it doesn't match Cynthia, but is still lower than Sumia and Cynthia. And yellow for where they are higher than Cynthia, but still lower than Sumia. And both blue and yellow are worth half a tally, I suppose you could say. So if we look at Crom, he matches Cynthia in luck, lower in both magic and resistance, and higher skill and speed, the total bringing up to 3. Frederick doesn't match Cynthia in any stat, however, he's lower in again magic and resistance, and again higher in skill and speed. His total comes to 2. And finally Gaius, equal in both defense and magic and lower in resistance. His total is 2.5. In review, Crom has a total of 4 tallies, including his Cavalier class. Frederick also has 4, including his Cavalier and Raven Rider classes. And Gaius only has 2.5 since none of his classes match with Cynthia. I personally count Sumia and Cynthia's hair as brown. Sumia's hair seems to be that of a lighter brown than her daughter's, especially at the tips of her hair and her artwork. Could be just the lighting on her hair, but we'll keep it as light brown. If that's the case, I feel like I should consider Gaius out of this since he has orange hair. In fact, it's kind of a light orange, which if we mix with Sumia's hair color, it would only be a slightly darker brown, and Cynthia's hair is still much, much darker, and I suppose maybe a bit duller in color. With Crom and Frederick's hair color, it could, when mixed with Sumia's hair color, make the color darker since they are darker colors. As with that thread of blonde hair in Crom's blood, since in Cynthia's artwork she is officially a brunette, we don't have to worry about that as we are sticking to what the official character design depicts her true color is, which is brown, which is dominant either way, since if both parents have a dominant trait, one of the dominant traits will take over, which in this case, Sumia's hair color wins. Now it's time to look at the supports of Crom and Frederick with Sumia. But before someone says this, yes, I know, Sumia was depicted as Crom's wife in the opening scene, but I have not seen anywhere that says it's canon. Mostly, it's there to point out, yes, at some point, Crom gets married and gets a child. And it's also a reference to Marth and Seda, since we know those two get married and Crom is a descendant of Marth, and Sumia is a Pegasus rider just like Seda, so it could just be a reference to the game that started this series. Considering Awakening was supposed to be the last game and send the series off with a bang. However, to the surprise of Intelligent Systems, Awakening ended up saving the series. And then followed up by the catastrophe that is Fates. But maybe Sumia was supposed to be the mother of Lucina. Maybe it was the original plan before the shipping system was in place, but I have not seen anywhere that it is canon that Sumiya marries Crom. If there is, show it to me. But I'm just saying this here because there's gonna be someone who says it, so I'm covering my bases now. Let us start with Crom then. So this support starts with blackmail of all things. Great start! I mean, we find Sumiya looking for Crom because he's late for a strategy meeting with Robin. And for some reason, Crom trips on a pebble. Why are pebbles the most terrifying thing ever that Frederick has to pick up every single one? And I guess Freddy missed one. Moving on. Sumiya says it's because he's been working so hard and is tired. Crom says he's fine and that everyone else is probably also tired from the endless fighting. Sumiya kind of assumes he's putting a brave face in front of her so she won't worry, but he's carrying everyone's burden. Or, well, in her words, twice the burden of anyone. But I feel Crom kinda has more than twice, you know, since he kinda not only has to protect his comrades and his own army, some which are his friends, his own family, and the people of Elise in the war. So, it's a lot more than twice the burden. So Crom calls her kind for saying that and asks Sumiya not to tell anyone of the conversation that they just had and of Crom tripping on a pebble. Sumiya says she'd never tell anyone, but Crom obviously was kinda kidding about it. Sumiya realizes Crom trusted her with a secret and says she'll keep it a secret as long as he takes a nap before going to see Robin. Crom is a little confused, but she reassures him she'll tell Robin he was delayed. When he asks if he doesn't agree to Sumiya, well, that's when the little blackmail part comes into play. But I'm pretty sure she was kidding around. But yeah, you don't want people to know you tripped on a pebble, Crom. So Crom says it's not a bad idea and goes along with it. B support. Sumiya is looking for Crom again because he baked him a pie and wanted to give it to him. Okay, this game loves its comedy with pebbles and also loves to include pie in its conversations. But why? Anyway, Crom is surprised and says it smells amazing. She made it for him since she thought he might be tired and would have enjoyed some pie. Rhubarb and fiddlehead pie. Oh, right, so I know what a fig is now and I've eaten it. It's alright. But now I don't know what rhubarb is. But I do know what fiddleheads are. You can thank Fallout 4 for that one. Though, if you ask Crom, he likes meat pies just a little bit more. Sumiya then points out meat is bad for someone who is worn out and that rhubarb will, well, clean his bowels and make him feel better. Honestly, I don't think I would use the words bowels in front of my crush or someone of interest, but okay. Or maybe it's just a weird word for me to say, but at least it's technically her mother's words. Crom said his nanny as a child used to say the same thing. Sumiya says they can't be wrong if they agree on something, so she gives the pie to Crom to eat while she does his laundry, basically, because it's piled up in a corner. Good job, Crom. When she leaves, Crom reveals that he hates rhubarb. It makes me think he was fed this a lot as a kid, so he might have bad experiences with it. And now I am brought back bad memories of being forced to drink prunes. I will destroy the next prune juice can I see, I swear. So, he tries some and thinks it's not too bad and eats it. And after eating it, he says it might be the best pie he's ever eaten. And Sumiya returned, surprised that he finished the pie. Which Crom says he was surprised he could eat it and that's what she did to the pie. Sumiya says she just put a bit of spice and herb and can make anything taste good if you know what you're doing. And Crom is impressed. Sumiya then suggests some tea, but Crom says she should be making the tea, which he does. And Sumiya is grateful for it, and we learned it took her 15 tries to get that pie right. I am not surprised by that. A support. Once again, Sumiya is looking for Crom with yet another pie. Crom wonders where she finds the time to make these pies, which Sumiya says it takes absolutely no time. And then points out everything she has to do to make said pie, but says she enjoys doing it and and she just made a big pie so that they can eat it together. Crom is up for the idea, but apologizes for bringing Sumia into the war. Sumia is honored to serve Crom, and Sumia does like doing some of the things of a soldier, like tending to the horses. She totally has a natural talent for it. She doesn't like the fact that the horses and Pegasus have to get hurt and fight alongside them. But then Crom thanks her and says he'll try to end the war quickly, to which Sumia says she'll help him with that. And finally, as support, Crom actually came looking for Sumia, who was just finished baking another pie and about to go look for him. But Crom says he doesn't deserve any more pies because she's been so kind. But Sumia says she likes looking after him. But then Crom brings up Pegasi, and Sumia almost says that she likes looking after them more than Crom, but quickly takes that back. Well, he was looking for Sumia to ask for a favor, and Sumia will do whatever he wants. And well, Crom being Crom, can't say the proper words. And Sumia keeps asking if he wants more pie, interrupting Crom in the middle of his proposal. This is frustrating Crom even more until he finally asks Sumia to be his wife, and Sumia confirms if he's actually proposing to her. I mean, it was kinda a fight for Crom to actually say it, but yes he did. He is proposing. But for the love of God, this game has a very fucking odd obsession with pie, because apparently after the 5th and 6th pie, Crom felt something for Sumia, and he thought that he must marry this woman. Sumia, on the other hand, admits her love for Crom since before the first pie. Too much pie. Too much pie. Though she never thought she'd marry royalty in any form, and Crom reassures she'll be the finest royal bride if she agrees, which she does, and as all S supports gets the ring, but with Crom's family crust, which was made for Crom, and he always planned to give it to the woman he loved. Now, let's move on to Frederick. C support. Sumia finds Frederick, who is up early, and asks him why. And Frederick, being Frederick, was inspecting everyone's weapons and armor. After asking if he ever sleeps, Frederick says he swore to serve Crom and the shepherds as best as he can and try to lessen the burden Crom has. Sumia says Crom is fortunate to have Frederick, to which we find out Frederick does many things in the morning, one being patrolling the camp. Oh, and scared some birds away from Crom's tent. Sorry, birdies! Sumia is a bit overwhelmed at what Frederick has done since he woke up. Frederick apologizes for going on and having a dull schedule, but Sumia thinks it's actually wonderful. Frederick is surprised, but Sumia thinks he's an inspiration. So much so, she wants to be more than just, well, the girl who falls on her face a lot. She wants to do more. Frederick is happy to hear that since she's the first person to ever tell him that, or understanding what he does, and suggests he and Sumia should work together on improving things at camp, which Sumia agrees to. B support. Sumia is apologizing for something. Frederick says it's fine, whatever they were doing was complicated. And what were they doing? Patrolling the camp? Our little flower girl got lost on patrol and dropped an expensive potion and a broken broom and fire? Okay, Sumia is accident prone, but at least she is good at pulling weeds, right? Nope. She accidentally also pulled up the newly fresh flower bed, to which Sumia isn't happy that she can't do anything right and wants to go back to her bed and hide. Poor little flower girl. Frederick, on the other hand, encourages Sumia to not give up, to keep trying and helping the shepherds, which is actually really sweet of Frederick, and Sumia promises to not give up. A support. Frederick is in a situation that involves a very stubborn, angry horse. Of all the things Frederick has done, he can't tame this horse that escaped at night. And in comes Sumia, who he explains the problem to. So Sumia tries to get the horse back, and she does. Sumia has again a really good talent for having a connection with animals, and Frederick is impressed and says he owes her. Well, Sumia Sumia didn't want it to be a big deal. Fred says to not be modest, but Sumia admits she fed the horses that night, which means she might have not closed the gate with the latch properly, so really, Sumia admits she might be the reason why this horse was out of the gate in the first place. Yeah, Sumia, I'm so sorry. And as support, Sumia finds Frederick and thanks him for polishing her armor till it shined. Frederick is surprised that she noticed, and Sumia confirms it and is happy with how good they look. And on her ride with her Pegasus that morning, she says she glittered so much she actually felt pretty. And Frederick says she always looked beautiful and only had his eyes for her. Sumia jokes if he doesn't have eyes on Crom, which, Frederick is loyal, he was meant to serve him. But when Sumia is in Frederick's presence, he can't stop looking at the girl. He's absolutely captivated. Well, at first it's because he's afraid she will hurt herself, since she's, accident prone, but eventually he gazed at her when he could. Sumia is stunned, and Frederick gives her a gift, which is a beautiful ring that Sumia ends up blushing at the implications of. And I'm sure you all know how this ends. And a yes. It's probably playing on the screen right now anyway while I drag on this sentence so you can read it. Great, huh? So which one is Cynthia's father? Let's take a look at what we know about Cynthia and what is revealed to us in her past about her father. Cynthia, believe it or not, she was once a very girly girl. That changed when her mother died. She wanted to be a hero, to help people like her mother once did, and that's why she's a Pegasus Knight. However, I need to point out something. When you recruit Cynthia, it seems as though she doesn't know her own father well. You'd only know this if Sumia has married Crom, because the whole false Prince of Elise thing, and Cynthia falls for this because she asked Crom to call her a name she supposedly was called by her father at one point. But the fact Sumia does not remember what her father looked like in this sense. I suppose her father died very early on. Crom, we know for sure, dies when Robin kills him in that alternate future, or future of that timeline, which is before Cynthia is born because she is younger than Lucina. I always saw Lucina as 18. I think it's confirmed she's 18 or somewhere close to that age. And I've always seen Cynthia as around maybe 15 or 16. If that's the case, then she definitely doesn't have a lot of memories of her own father. However, we could take an idea of a theory I had in the Morgans being twins theory. When Crom died, Sumia was pregnant with Cynthia at that time. So yes, it could be true. But that could possibly make the gap between Lucy and Lucina's ages 1 or 2 years apart at best. Still doesn't knock Crom out as her father completely, but hold on to the fact that Sumia could have made some things up about her father so that Cynthia could remember at least something about them. But Lyde, what about Frederick? Surely he would have been around longer than Crom. Well, yes and no. Yes, he did live longer than Crom. But no, because if you look at his outcome at the end of the war, he becomes the Knight Captain of Elise, which means he would be in command of the shepherds and whatever recruits they can get their hands on. Now let's assume this is also the same path that the Frederick in the children's future becomes. After Crom dies, he becomes the captain of the shepherds. So really, maybe after Crom's death, he took it personally. Considering he was close to Crom and very loyal, he would want to end the war and avenge Crom. Not that that isn't his personality, but anything can make a person snap. Considering Frederick's situation, not being able to protect the one he serves can make him do something irrational. So commanding an army against Grima after Crom's death and being away from Sumia, assuming he sent her back after finding out she was with child at some point, so she won't get hurt or their child. He could have died shortly after trying to defend his home, his family, and his own master. But I really think Cynthia's father is Frederick. Here's why. In Cynthia's support with her father, she is constantly making her father hang out with her, do things together. It gets to a point where her father wants a lot of space, and Cynthia explains she wants to spend as much time with him before that world's version of her is born because she doesn't want to take any time away from the baby. And her father is touched, except this wouldn't make sense for Crom. And the most obvious reason is baby Lucy. Remember that little bundle of joy that was born after the short time skip? Yeah, that child still exists. And if Crom is alive and well, he could be taking care of that child already. So Cynthia is his daughter. She's taking time away from Lucy. So really, the only option that would work here is Frederick. So Frederick is Cynthia's father. And with that, we are done. Came to the conclusion that Frederick is Cynthia's father, and this theory can be put to rest finally. So you know what that means. The return of the shipyard wheel. So let's see who will be the next child we will be looking at. And the winner is Batman! I mean Jerome! That will be fun. So if you enjoyed this theory on who is Cynthia's father, you can go check out the other theories that I've done. You can check out the Morgan theory. You can check out all the other theories. If you're interested in what else I do on my channel, I have a playthrough of Danganronpa V3 going on right now. I do some cover videos. I sometimes upload some Splatoon related stuff. If not, and you just want to see more of these theories happen often, I would suggest going to my Patreon and donating some money if you wish. I'm not really forcing anyone. The option's there. I'm just having it there. Nah. And lastly, if you are interested in hearing more of my voice or my voice acting or my writing, I suggest going over to the Harmony Net Studios channel and checking out Ties of Fate, which is an audio series that is going on. I promise. I just have some technical difficulties with actors. If you're just looking for something to listen to in the background while you're cooking, doing homework, or chores, or whatever really, you got yourselves a pretty good few hours of audio if you just listen to everything that's on the channel. And with that, I will see you next time when we cover who is Jerome's father. Bye bye!